Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel and welcome to Cheers to the New Year Mixed Media Frenzy Hop. And I am working with a cut file today for the Creative Cuts Club. And it is this really beautiful, I don't know if they're leaves or if they're flowers to be honest with you, but they're really pretty and I just love it so much. So I went through, I put it on top of my watercolor paper and then I went through and I traced it. And I am watercoloring all of the openings of those, we're going to call them leaves because I'm painting them green, although they could be flowers, I'm not really sure. I'm not into horticulture or any of that kind of stuff, so I really don't know my flowers all that well. I know that one does look a little bit like a tulip, but beyond that, I couldn't tell you anything about it. But it is gorgeous and I like it a lot. So, and I believe this is a Paige Evans cut file, but I got this as part of my Creative Cuts Club kit in April of 2020. It was called Floral Frenzy. So that is what I am playing with today. And I am watercoloring, well, I am using my Dylusions ink sprays as watercolor. So I've poured a little bit of 3 different green colors into my pan there on the right hand side. And the colors I'm using, the darkest one is called Chopped Pesto, and then the next one is Dirty Martini, and then the lightest one is called Fresh Lime. And I am basically just making the part that is closest to the stem the darkest and working my way out so that I'm using the Fresh Lime color at the very tips of each of those leaves. And I really do love how this comes out. I wasn't really sure if I was going to like it or not, and that is why I did that one that's kind of in the center there, because I thought that would be the spot where my photo would go and it would cover it. So that was my kind of test spot. And you can see there I did not leave any gaps in that one that I did the test on. And the other ones I'm leaving gaps where the paper or the parts of the cut file would go through. If you are to do this technique, I would definitely not leave those gaps. I would just go ahead and paint under them, because I was so close to the lines that I drew that sometimes I was just inside and you could see a little bit of the white paper versus the painted paper. So it's almost better to go a little bit outside of the line so that when you lay your cut file down, the actual cut file covers a little bit of the watercolor or the ink or whatever it is that you plan to use. So in retrospect, that's what I would have done so that I wouldn't have any little white gaps. I did go back and fix it all before I actually glued down my cut file so that none of those little white gaps showed. But if I had done that from the beginning, I wouldn't have had that problem. I was just lining that up there to see if I was supposed to paint that one section or not, because one of my lines was not drawn completely and I couldn't tell, so that's why I laid it over the top. And you do have to be careful when you do lay it over the top there, because if you dip it right into that paint or ink, it will soak it up. And I do have a couple little spots that have ink on them on my cut file, but it's not that big of a deal because there's so much on top of it with the photo and embellishments and stuff that you don't see that area anyway. So I just keep checking it to make sure I'm just working in the right spot and everything. And I do put you guys on fast forward quite a bit here so that you're not sitting here for, like, I don't know, maybe it took me an hour to do the whole thing. So you are going to see this all sped up pretty quickly. So I am playing along with the Mixed Media Frenzy Hop this month, and our theme is Cheers to the New Year. And I didn't have any photos from the New Year or New Year's Eve or anything because my husband had oral surgery that day, so he was down for the count. And so I scrapbooked online with some friends on Zoom, and I didn't take any pictures of it. Otherwise, it was a really quiet night, and so I had nothing to document for New Year's. I don't have anything from last year, New Year's, that wasn't already documented. So what I did was I decided that we did a big trip to Kauai last year for our 25th anniversary, and so basically my cheers is to another year together. And so that is what I am documenting. And I actually do use Cheers to Another Year on my layout, but it is not in reference to New Year's Eve or anything like that. It's just another year being married. so, and so it's a picture of me and my husband. While we were in Kauai, we went on a trip down the river to Fern Grotto, and that picture is taken on the boat on the way down to Fern Grotto. And so all of this greenery is just perfect for it because Fern Grotto is just gorgeous, beautiful greenery. It's very lush, very foresty, tropical forest, not forest like you would see in like pine trees and that kind of forest, but tropical forest. And the grotto is just gorgeous, how everything just hangs from underneath that cave-like look. So it's just beautiful. So that's what I'm documenting, and there are a bunch of people playing along with me in this hop, so you can check out their links down below. I'm sure everybody's going to have different takes on it, and they're going to be doing all kinds of different things. The main thing that we have to do for this hop is use mixed media, because it is for Mixed Media Frenzy after all. So my mixed media is not technically watercolor, but I am using my inks in a watercolor fashion with this beautiful cut file that I got from my Creative Cuts Club kit. And I just love how that looks. It's just so pretty. So I kind of went with a green theme, but at the end I do add in a little bit of a surprise pop of color, so you'll have to watch for that. And I am using some black with it because I think the black just makes everything pop, as well as a black border all the way around. And lately that has been my thing to do. Just make sure there is a paper underneath there with a slim border showing all the way around. And depending on the paper, I do sometimes gut it, but with black, I don't usually gut the black because I don't, it's not like I can't get another piece of black cardstock. And then I did trim down this 3x4 card, and it says I love you more every day. And I decided to go ahead and turn it back into a 3x4 card by backing it with that black cardstock, and I like how that looks. And then I also have these cut files that say This Is Us. Those are also from the Creative Cuts Club. I don't know what month that was from though, so I could not tell you which month that's from, but it is definitely from that particular kit club. So I'm using 2 cut files on this, and lots of mixed media, and I am just in love with how it turned out. I don't say that about all my layouts, I promise. There are some that I say this is definitely not my favorite layout, but it does tell a story, so I'm happy with those too, as long as the story's told. But yeah, I'm super happy with how this turned out. I actually thought for a quick moment there that I was going to have to redo all of that inking because I didn't go outside of the lines a little bit and all those little white gaps were showing. But then when I went over it and it dried, it looked fine. So yeah, note to self, go outside the lines. This is the one time in your life that you're going to be told you can color outside the lines, so go for it. And I really like that little heart. It came with the cut file as well, and I thought that's super cute. I'm using some papers. The green 3x4 card is from Fifth and Monaco, I believe, and then this other piece that I'm playing with is from Heidi Swap's Art Walk. And those are 2 collections that in large part make up my kit for this particular trip. And so I just like how they look together. I like all the greenery. I liked how some of it has mixed media. I do have some Jen Hadfield Chasing Adventure in there as well, which is what is backing the photo there in the green. So I don't have a ton of journaling that's going on this. It's basically that this is our 25th wedding anniversary, and cheers to another year, like I said. I am just trying to figure out these leaves that I'm putting in here. Those are printed from a digital kit. I believe the digital kit was from Tracy Reed. I basically went on to the sweet shop and found a kit that had a lot of tropical flowers and leaves, and I printed those out in multiples because I knew I would need a lot of them for this album, because I want to continue various things throughout the entire album, and that was one of the things. I have these little cameras and these flowers and leaves that I am placing in different spots throughout this album just to keep it all looking like it belongs together. I play with this little green sticker and I'm not really sure where I'm going to put it. I end up putting it at the top versus the bottom, and I like how it looks. I also play with that little green heart. I thought I would dot an eye with it, but then I didn't like how that was dotted. Only one eye was dotted but not the other, so I kind of move it around a bit. I also have some epoxy flare in the bottom right hand corner there that I thought I was going to use. I tried to get it on there, but it just didn't feel right on this particular layout, so I don't end up using any of the epoxy flare. It is from Scrap and Happy Studio, in case you're interested in getting epoxy flare. You can order it without the foam on the back, which makes it a lot thinner in your albums. That is how I order it, and I really like it. And then I pulled out one of these little black bows from Rosie's Studio, and bows are not my thing. I really have a tough time using them, but these little tiny ones don't seem to bother me so much, and I don't use them super often, but I do like how these little ones look. I'm not a real big fan of the bow stickers, so I don't use those very often. I tried this piece from Allie Edwards on there. I was going to leave it there. It's a chipboard piece, and I was looking for another piece to bring down into the bottom area, but I ended up not using that either. It just didn't seem to fit very well. And then this sticker says "This is the good life," and the text is in the same green, and that's also from Heidi Swapp. I pulled out these white thickers. These are the smallest white thickers that I have. These are from Paige Evans, one of her older collections now. And so I'm trying to figure out where I want to put that. I end up putting it right at the top of the photo, but I did try for a while there to put it down below, as you can see. So it's going to go right there, and then I'm going to move that green label up a little bit more. And for some reason, that green label that has the little heart that I stuck on it, it really wanted to stick, which is surprising because Heidi Swapp is American Crafts and usually their stuff doesn't stick very well. So I was very pleasantly surprised that it was very sticky and it did not want to come off of the paper, even though I actually wanted it to. So maybe they are changing things up and are making their stickers a little more sticky now. Maybe they're listening and they've heard us all complain. I am going to go ahead and ink that up with some black around it. I do ink up this round one. Actually, everything pretty much has black ink around it just to give it a nice border and contrast, and I really like how that looks. And then I'm going to go through my ephemera there in that little box. That's all the ephemera that I'm using for this particular album. I'm going to add some of these leaves down on either side of the circle there, and one little section at the top there. You know, you can never have enough green leaves when you're on a tropical vacation. And that was Kauai that we were on, which is like a, you know, the garden, I think it's the garden island or something like that. And it's like everything is lush and green there. It's so pretty. And then I'm going to go through my stuff and I'm going to try and find some color to add to it. You can see I added a black heart up at the top there. I like that too, just bringing in more black to the top. And here's where I'm thinking, okay, I need something in color. I tried blue, I tried yellow. I didn't make you sit through watching all of the things I tried, but I end up with this pink. So I like how that looks, and that is pretty much going to do it for this layout. I'm going to add a few pink sequins. They are iridescent pink, so they're not like super bold or anything. And I like the way they end up looking. Again, go check out the other ladies that are playing along. Their links are down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. We do this every month. It is the last Friday of the month, I believe. And it's a ton of fun. I really enjoy doing stuff with mixed media, so this really kind of makes me get it out and use it. And I know there's a lot of ladies that are super talented playing along, So check them out. The close-ups are coming up in just a few moments. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd hit that like button down below, I'd appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And if you are, thanks for sticking with me through all of this. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye now.